Up here at 6, politically motivated and groundless. That's what suspended state attorney Andrew Warren says about the governor removing him from office. But Governor Desantis says he removed him due to neglect of duty. So now it's up to a judge in Tallahassee to determine if the suspension was warranted. Fox 13's Gloria Gomez was there for the first day of the trial. Hi there, Gloria. I know Andrew Warren took the stand today. He's arguing this is a First Amendment issue, correct?
That is correct, Mark. In fact, he's saying that he was being punished for something he said, not something he did. And just to give you a recap on this case, it was actually August 4th when the governor suspended Warren for signing on to 2 pledges not to prosecute cases involving abortion and gender-affirming cases as well. But of course, right after he signed those pledges, he did one exclusive interview with Fox 13, and they played that interview in court today to show the judge that in fact during that interview he had told us that it wasn't this blanket statement not to prosecute abortions, not to prosecute gender-affirming cases. It was actually a situation that would be determined on a case-by-case situation based on the merits, based on the values. Take a look at the clip of what he told us back in June. Take a look.
It depends, again, on the facts and circumstances of every case. But moving the line arbitrarily from the point of viability to 15 weeks is not something that in any way protects public safety, and all it does is violate people's fundamental freedoms and the right to privacy.
Warren's legal team actually expected to call some of the governor's staff tomorrow to basically lay the foundation to show the judge that, in fact, this was a politically motivated situation. But the governor's team saying that is not the case. In fact, they say Warren was picking and choosing what laws to enforce, Mark.
Yeah, and how about the governor's team? Did they get to cross-examine Warren today? Any points there?
They did. No points scored today. They were really trying to corner Warren, in fact, to admit to the point where he was going to say on the stand that, in fact, he was picking and choosing what laws to enforce. But Warren never bid on that. He stayed firm on the facts that, no, he takes each case on its merits and on the values of the facts of the case. And that's what he decides to prosecute, not a situation where he takes his political stands based on the on the laws, that, in fact, he enforces the law.
Sure. Gloria Gomez covering the trial for us live in Tallahassee. Gloria, thanks.